This show contains spoilers, adult language, and possibly some sexual assault.
Good Lord.
It's the law.
That could be misconstrued.
Chris says it's the law that we have to warn people.
Listener discretion is advised.
Movies with Ron, movies with Ron.
Hell yeah, motherfucker.
Movies with Ron.
All right, Vigo the Carpathian.
Yeah.
Remember him?
Oh, yes.
Ghostbusters 2, the bad guy?
You know who did his voice?
Who?
Max von Sydow.
Oh.
Vigo's real name was Wilhelm Homburg or Norbert Gruppe. He was a boxer, so I think he had a boxing name.
Yeah.
I don't know which one is which. His father was a Nazi.
Oh.
Oh.
His mother walked out on them. And when his father got remarried, he raped his stepmother. The bad guy from Ghostbusters 2.
Raped his stepmother?
Yeah, and she had his daughter. I don't know when he knew, or if he ever knew,
That he raped her? Or that she was his stepmother?
that his stepsister was his daughter.
Oof.
He was a drug smuggler. He would spit at his fans
Oh, my God.
when he was a boxer. All right, and it says he was so awful on and off screen in Ghostbusters 2, they dubbed him over with Max von Sydow. It sounds like he did a fine voice performance, but they were so mad they did it to piss him off or something?
Wow. I am riveted.
I am shocked.
This is weird.
All right, so he's got his stepsister / daughter. Anyways,
Oh, I'm afraid of what's coming.
I don't know what she knew. If she thought he was her brother the whole time, I don't know. Well, the father dies, Vigo's father, and the sister / daughter doesn't tell Vigo for a month.
Uh-huh.
Like, I don't know the circumstances. He didn't find out till a month later that his dad died.
Okay.
And he was so pissed off. He was so spiteful that he made sure that she didn't know of his death until a month after he died. Vigo is no longer with us. He was on his deathbed and made sure nobody told his daughter / stepsister until a month later.
Wow.
Oh. Not exactly a man of the people, huh?
Wasn't he also Vigo the Butch?
Welcome to episode 117 of Movies with Ron, the podcast where my older brother recaps a movie from beginning to end for me and you, because we like his versions better. It's okay if you've seen the movie or not. The experience is unique, so let's get it on. I'm Chris, your MC for the time being. Here with me tonight, Nurse Candy.
Hey, everybody.
And here he is, folks.
He's the ball cracker, death on foot. You know him, you love him. He's Ron. Ron.
Hey, Ron.
Hey, guys. And hello, listeners. Welcome to episode 117.
Ooh. Vigo's raping stepmoms in hell.
And he can't come. Scourge of Carpathia. The sorrow of Moldavia. Just before his head died, he said, "Don't tell my sister."
Stan Lee died.
Oh.
Yes, but Stan Lee's last words were, "Death is but a doorway, time is but a window, I'll be back." So it's fine. We love you, Stan Lee.
That's right.
Glad we footnoted him in, well, with Vigo.
I thought it was a good segue. Candy, you tweeted about Meg Mucklebones?
I did.
Yeah. What was your Twitter handle again? You want people to follow you, right?
Yeah. It's Nurse Candy.
It's
The Nurse Candy 47. Nurse Candy 47.
At Nurse Ford. What?
Well, it made me think about Meg Mucklebones. Who is that, Ron?
The badass green swamp witch in the movie Legend.
That's right.
Yeah. I kind of feel sorry for her nowadays, don't you?
Why?
You watch that scene now? It's like Tom Cruise made her think he had the lid to her pot. You know what I mean?
No.
It's kind of sad.
How so?
He was there in that short skirt, and she was all like eating him up. And
Yeah, she was like,
juicy pie! And then he cut her fucking head off.
Yeah.
It's just bitter. All right, I saw Overlord. It was kind of
that's what I hear.
Yeah.
We're walking out of the theater. I turned to my date. I was like, didn't that guy in that movie kind of look like Kurt Russell? They got this guy in the movie. He was in an episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's in this one, and he's like the McCready of the team.
Yeah.
And, oh man, he's got that wide face, the fine hair, the beard.
Yeah,
they like Kurt Russelled him up.
Yeah, they hit him in the face with a 2x4.
It turns out he's Kurt Russell's son.
Oh.
Wyatt Russell.
Yeah.
Anyways, the guy who made Overlord is doing the remake of Flash Gordon.
Wow.
Flash Gordon from 1980.
Hell yeah.
Woohoo.
Here we go. Why are we doing this?
Because this is a special episode. This episode is Nurse Candy's 100th episode on the show. So she says.
It's my 1-year anniversary.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because this episode marks Nurse Candy's 1-year anniversary on the show.
Yay!
Hey!
Thank you, guys. It's been so much fun.
We're glad you're here.
Thank you.
Must have been your lifelong ambition.
Yep.
Yes.
Flash Gordon from 1980. You like this movie, Candy?
I freaking love this movie. Now, did you ever go and watch it?
No.
You've never
Because I
seen
knew
it?
we were doing it. I don't have to.
There you go.
That's what I'm getting you for Christmas.
But I can think of one reason to love this movie.
Okay.
Queen did the soundtrack?
Oh, it's
Or
fucking
did they
awesome.
did they just do the one song?
They did the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Their very first soundtrack.
Yeah, and then they got that movie out, Bohemian Rhapsody, kind of biopic thing. I want a movie that's just Queen recording the Flash Gordon music. Just like in the studio, just those couple of weeks where they're like on top of the world and they're like sci-fi shit, you know, making music. That's a movie right there. If part of that is in Bohemian Rhapsody, I'll bet that's the best part of the movie.
I bet that too. Wait. Flash Gordon?
Well, what other Gordon can there be?
I thought you said Flesh Gordon.
What?
This whole time I thought that's when you said you wanted to do Flesh Gordon for her anniversary.
Oh, fuck. That's right, Candy, we're doing Flash Gordon. The jig is up.
I can't wait.
Surprise, surprise. Have you guys ever seen Flesh Gordon?
No.
See, that's why I didn't feel too bad about this ruse.
Yeah, Flash Gordon from 1974.
Damn right. 6 years before Flash Gordon.
The only porn parody that came out before the real one. I say porn parody, but it was written and directed by Michael Benveniste, who got the film taken from him by police.
Oh, yeah.
And he had to watch the film with a judge, and all the hardcore sex got taken out.
Yeah.
So,
Giving it a hard R rating
yeah,
from X.
it's just really titillating.
It's just, you know what? It's just smut. But it is a coherent story, and it's impressively well done.
Yeah, I heard the special effects are top notch.
They really are for the time.
Yeah, Rick Baker worked on the special
Dude,
effects.
yeah.
No way.
Rick Baker, Jim Danforth, David Allen, and Dennis Murren, special effects aficionados. It got Oscar talk
Yeah.
for the effects. And the only reason is they didn't even include the category because there wasn't enough films that year with good special effects.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is this true? You're really doing Flesh Gordon?
Oh, yeah.
Flesh.
Happy birthday. Anniversary. You see, you can't take Flash Gordon, the movie, recap it, make it dirty and funny, when Flesh Gordon exists.
I was thinking about that. This is probably just going to be a straight up,
I know, you're just going to tell it straight.
Yeah, I'm just gonna play it straight.
Dinosaurs shaped like dicks.
Flesh Gordon has this unique thing about it where everyone on planet Earth knows about it, but almost none of you have seen it.
Yeah.
And no one talks about this movie ever. So let's do it. It seemed like such a good idea at the time.
No, I'm excited. I'm excited.
I'm a full convert, but at first, when he said that, I was like, oof.
He texted me, he's like, are we hitting a new low when we're just straight recapping smut? And I said,
That's supposed to be creative smut.
All right, folks, grab your umbrellas, because it's going to pour smut.
Cocks. It's going to rain cocks.
how old is your son?
He doesn't listen to the show.
He will someday. I'll make sure he hears this one.
It's Flesh Gordon on Movies with Ron.
It's showtime. Get the people out! Come on! Get the people out!
All right. From 1929 to 1933, America had been ravaged by a merciless depression. The public needed something to help lift morale and give courage. One of the greatest morale builders was the creation of the superhero. Flash Gordon, Captain Marvel, Buck Rogers, Superman, and many others. They possessed the goodness and moral fortitude which the country could admire in its time of need. In today's troubled times, we, the producers, felt there existed a need for more entertaining humor. Realizing America's respect for things of the past, we, in the spirit of burlesque and satire, have created a new folk hero, with the spirit of the old, but the outrageousness of the new. The originators of the heroes of yesteryear and those who immortalized them on the silver screen and in comic strips played no part in the production of this motion picture, but it could not have been made without them. For their ideas and visions of other worlds have been our inspiration. To those innovators and their fans throughout the world, we dedicate Flesh Gordon.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
And it's like, it also says, not to be confused with Flash Gordon. Good evening, North America and all of our ships at sea. News flash. Congress has called an emergency session, but as yet, no one has shown up, and the president refused to issue a statement, having locked himself and the vice president in his bathroom early this morning. However, the First Lady urges all to seek comfort in the Bible. This just in. The world's top scientists are holding a conference in D.C., awaiting a statement from Professor Gordon, a world authority on animal behavior and renowned physicist. And then we cut to all those scientists. And they're in an observatory. And they're all like, waiting to hear from Dr. Gordon. Gentlemen, we are in big trouble. And then outside the building, there's a newsie. It's like, extra, extra, read all about it. Sex madness perils planet. Get it now, read all about it. He's like yelling all that, and people are just walking by, and then all of a sudden, this red laser just like hits everybody. And then they all just mob the newsie and rip his clothes off. And he's like, hey, get off of me, you horny joints. Back with Professor Gordon and the scientists. Gentlemen, I think there is no need to describe to you the incredible chaos the planet has been plunged into. The disgraceful acts being committed at this very moment. Everywhere. Street corners, rooftops, in grass, huts in the jungle, in airports, markets, and movie houses. Fuck yeah! Yes, we are in big trouble. Dr. Gordon, we're all aware of the mass total degradation that's overcome everyone, but what do we do about it? What's causing it? And then they all start arguing. All these scientists like, it's a virus. We got to find a cure. It is obviously mass hypnosis. No. This has been traced to bad cans of tuna. And this one guy's like, this guy's thinking about tuna. He got mercury on his brain. They're all arguing. Gentlemen, we must be calm. Future generations are depending on us. Now, I've discovered 3 things about this madness. Number 1, not all areas are affected. Look around you. Are any of you sexually aroused? Any of you? And there's one guy who's like, no. Number 2, my son, representing the United States at the International Ice Hockey Playoffs in Tibet, has discovered a great beam of light coming from some far-off planet, whose appearance coincides with the first occurrence of this yesterday. The occurrence of the sex beam.
Yeah.
Right.
And number 3, I discovered my wife in bed with the garbage man. And everybody's like, oh! He's all sad. I love this movie. Well, doctor, did your son find anything else out? My son is at the moment on his way back here. And when he has landed, we shall all find out. And right then it just cuts to this plane in the air, and there's some guy blowing a big bubble with bubble gum, and then it pops. And there's Flesh Gordon, baby.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. And then you get opening credits, which are all like wonderfully done paintings of nasty things happening. There's a bunch of naked ladies and monsters and stuff. So we're on the plane, okay, and it's night, and it's storming. The pilots are like, Tower, we got some foul weather here. In the cabin, there's this blonde chick, and she pulls down her pants. No, she pulls down a pitcher of martini, like from off of the shelf, and pours herself a drink, and then she spills it all over Flesh Gordon.
Oh.
By the way, Professor Gordon named his son Flesh. That's weird, right? So the storm shakes the plane around as she falls into his lap. She's like, oh, it's a scary storm. Do you think we'll make it? Don't worry. This is one of the safest planes ever. And then it just starts shaking. And she's sitting in his lap like, bouncing up and down. I'm Dale Ardor. Flesh Gordon. Oh, you're Professor Gordon's son. Yeah. In the cockpit, the pilots are like, hey, look out! And then
Oh, no.
the plane gets hit by the red laser, the sex beam. Everybody in the cabin just falls! And then they just start having a big old orgy, baby. Oh, yeah. Tan lines and hair. As far as the eye could see. All of a sudden, Dale just starts ripping her clothes off. Like, she's still in Flesh's lap. And she's like, ah! And he's like, Dale, control yourself. The pilots are like, sir, I have a giant boner. Well, strap it down. We got to control this thing. I can't, sir.
We're going a bit fast!
The orgy in the back continues. Everybody's just rolling around, hugging and laughing. Like, there's sex happening, but you don't actually get to see it, you know? But there is a lot of naked people. Get in there and move around a bunch. That'll look good. And the pilots are like, Tower, you got 2 horny son of a bitches here. Signing off. And they just get up and walk to the back of the plane. They walk into the cabin and they're like, all right. They start pulling their shirts off, and the whole group of people is just like, yeah, come on. So the plane starts going down. Flesh actually ties Dale to her seat, and he goes to the cockpit. Dale ain't having it. She gets out of her restraints, and she is so overcome by this urge. And she wants Flesh. So she's like crawling through the orgy to get to the cockpit. Flesh is in there trying to fly the plane. She gets to him. He's like, it's not responding. The stick breaks off in his hand. And he's like, oh, okay, we're bailing out. But they only have one parachute, so he has to hold on to her. And they jump out of the plane. And it is not clear what happened to the rest of the people.
Oh, no.
I'm assuming they all died. Happy, though. Anyway, as you might expect, he is wearing the parachute, and he's holding on to her, and her face is at crotch level. There is some moaning. And then they land. Yep. Dale's passed out. Dale, darling, are you all right? She wakes up and she's like, you called me darling. This is the 70s, baby. What's happening? I don't know.
In that case, I guess I'll take a blowjob then. I should have brought my wallet.
They see a house in the distance, so they're going to go to try to use the phone. Remember, she still has no clothes on. All of a sudden, stop! Not another step! They turn and there's this bearded man with a gun. I know what you're here for, but you're not gonna get it. And it's weird. Flesh goes all aggro on this guy, but then immediately changes his tune to one of niceness. Hey, listen, man, I don't know who you are, but this girl's hurt, and we need a phone. You see, we were flying along in this airplane, and suddenly we were hit by this sex ray from outer space. The pilots joined in, and we had to jump. Do you take me for a fool? Do you think I don't know you came here to steal the plans for my new interstellar hydrocombustion medical patented micro-Teflon nuclear gamma strata rocket ship plane missile? Which was 20 years in the making. And then he pulls out blueprints and starts pointing at them. And employs a new updraft design which lifts the ship on small spirals of synthetic strontium pellets. Do you think I don't know that? Well, I've never even heard of it. And he puts the blueprints back in his pocket. So you're barking up the wrong tree. And then he turns to Dale, who is topless. He's like, my dear, I wonder if you might assist me in an experiment. You see, I believe that exposure to the sex ray increases the size of the... And then he grabs her boob. And Flesh is like, jerk off! What? Dr. Flexi Jerkoff. I thought I recognized you. Ah. Why, you must be Flesh. Professor Gordon's son. It's nice to meet you. Come, let me show you the ship. And he takes him into his house. He escorts him into the house, and he is still copping a feel on Dale, like the entire time. So then, he introduces him to Dale, and so on and so forth. Now they're all friends. So he's talking to him about how he made this ship when the sex beam hit. And he's like, oh, you can't know what it was like being hit by the sex ray out here by myself. And he gets into Dale's face, and he's like, it was hell. Dale plays with a big magnifying lens, and she ends up holding it strategically in front of one of her boobs. So it's like, wah. I've discovered what planet the ray was coming from. Fortunately, the ship was finished before the sex ray hit, and the design was not influenced. And then he unveils it, and it's a gigantic gold dong. It's beautiful. Dale's like, oh, the likeness is incredible. I was able to get most of the parts from the Sears catalog. So you're going to the planet? Do you think the ship will make it? It's got to, Flesh. It's the last hope humanity has. Flesh, Dale, will you come with me? It'll be dangerous, but someone's got to save the Earth from that evil ray. And they're like, you know what? Let's do it. Wonderful. Now, that planet is going to be closest to the Earth in 6 minutes, so we've got a lot of work to do. Come on. So they're prepping the ship, and this is about 15 minutes of the movie, and it is boring as shit. But there's little funny things, like he's got a sign on one of the control panels that says, "Science is golden." They walk into the ship, and we get a real good look at what Flesh is wearing. He's wearing a white button-down shirt, and he is wearing those weird, sticking-out-the-sides colonel pants. Oh. Yeah, it's weird. And they're like, sticking out too far. They were obviously special for this movie. So it takes them all that time to start the ship, and all right, and Jerkoff rings a bell. Ding, ding! Like it's a trolley. And Flesh and Dale have to hold on to these handles that are in the ceiling, like they are on a train. Mm-hmm. And then, boom, the golden dong shoots into space.
She's still naked?
Oh, yes. Hang on now. We're going through the Moronosphere. So they go past a bunch of stuff, like a big craterous moon with an eye on it. Mm-hmm. This is the 70s. Trippy stuff, you know. They're flying through garbage. Oh, the Earth is beautiful. Ah! What is it? The sex ray, Doctor! It's coming! And then they fly right through that shit. They lose control of the ship and themselves. And they get a 3-way orgy happening.
Flesh.
Where Dale is actually crawling away from them throughout the ship. And they're like, head her off at the pass. Get her! Yeah, man. And you're like, wait. But then it just cuts to them all being done. The men are dressed, and Dale is not. Oh, another episode like that, and I'll be ready for the old folks' home. So they're flying through space, and Flesh is like, yeah, Doc, what kind of planet do you think it is? Well, it's definitely inhabited. No natural force could do what the sex ray did to us. Ah, there it is. How about we take a closer look? Hold on, we're going down. Oh, yeah. When the plane was crashing in the beginning, Flesh was like, we're going down. And Dale, who was sex crazed, is like, oh, yes, go down, go down.
This is the greatest thing ever.
You ain't heard nothing yet, baby. So it cuts to some weird view screen down on the planet, right? And there is a random guard/tech, and he gets onto the radio. Forgive me your protuberance, but an alien ship approaches porno. That's the name of the planet.
Oh, shit. The real name.
Yeah. And whoever's on the other line is just like, probably the Earth people. Bring the ship down, but I want them unharmed. And then these weird-looking lizard ships fly out, like they're painted to look like lizards. It's great. Yeah. They fly out after them, and like the mouths open up to shoot the lasers, and they hit that big golden dong. And he's like, shh, we're going down. There's an alarm that just says, trouble, trouble, trouble. And then another one, double trouble. I have no control, Flesh. Fix the thing over there. And he's like, okay, Dale, hand me a bobby pin. She does, and they still crash. It doesn't matter. But the ship looks great while it's crashing. It's like sputtering and spiraling down. A big gold dick. Flesh wakes Dr. Jerkoff up. Oh, is the ship badly damaged? I don't know. Let's go outside and take a look. Just before they do is when Jerkoff notices Dale's nakedness. And he's like, oh, Dale, just a moment. I think I... And he's digging through stuff. He's like, yes. And he pulls out a dress. And he hands it to her. It was my mother's. She was buried in it. Yep.
Oh, God.
So the lizard ship shows up, and then 3 of these guards get out. And they're wearing, like, leather miniskirts and those straps that go around the body and just meet in a metal ring in the chest. Uh-huh. And then helmets with a giant dong on the top. And they all start marching down the hill at him. And Flesh and the other 2 are like, oh, no, run! So they run into this cave, and they're hiding, okay? And they find this, like, weird, smoky cavern inside. And the walls... This movie has some pretty good production design. The walls are all covered in veins. Yeah, it's weird. It's strange in here, Flesh. It almost looks alive. Jerkoff is, like, looking at the wall with a magnifying glass. It's like no rock known to science. It's not hard like a rock. And then all of a sudden, holy shit, whoa! And then Dr. Jerkoff just gets knocked off of his feet by this giant penis monster that erupts out of the ground.
Oh, shit.
And it's done with the old Harryhausen-esque
awesome.
Stop motion animation. And it looks just as good as Clash of the Titans, baby. So it's a giant veiny penis with horns around the rim of the head, like a triceratops, and then one giant eye in the middle. And it's like, like, oh my God! What is it, Doc? Well, some species of Penosaurus, I should think. And it's like, and then they back away, and another one erupts out of the ground behind them. And a whole bunch come up. And they're all just like, more and more. They're surrounded. They try to run. Dale falls. Flesh and Jerkoff run to try to get her, but then another one comes up and blocks their path. So now they're powerless to stop her from getting molested by the first one. And it's just like nudging her. Because it's so huge.
Yeah.
It's so big. It's just like nudging her body. And she's like, oh, you beast. Get away from me. You stink. This movie is amazing. So Flesh and Jerkoff, they're dodging them and stuff. And Jerkoff's like, aha. And he picks up a big rock and then immediately gets pummeled by another Penosaurus that comes down out of the ceiling. And Dr. Jerkoff just disappears. The guards that were looking for him hear the commotion, and they walk in and shoot the Penosauruses with their laser guns, so they all go back in the ground. It's the Earth people! We gotta take them alive! I got dibs on the girl. The blonde giant's mine. Leave the bearded one for me. And then we just cut to the palace.
Flesh.
We're in the throne room. And the evil Ming-type emperor is on his throne, which looks great, man. It's like in the middle of this giant fanged mouth, and there's like big blue clawed hands holding it. It's really cool looking. And he's evil looking, and he's smoking a big hookah. And he has got this giant orgy happening at his feet. Like all of these people. And when they show the orgy, you just hear this happy tuba music, like boom, 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 boom. And it is nothing but assholes and toes, man. So our three heroes are brought before the Emperor. Why have you come to the planet Porno? Dr. Jerkoff says, to destroy that terrible sex ray that's brought chaos to planet Earth. I should think you'd be thanking me. No matter, no power can squash the infinite power of my sex beam. But why? Earth is a peaceful planet. And then the Emperor just looks at Dr. Jerkoff and goes, I'll tell you later. How did you get here? In a ship that I constructed. A scientist, eh? I could use you. Guards, take him to the laboratory and show him what to do. So they drag him away. Bring the Earth Woman closer. Ah, beautiful. My eyes have never beheld such loveliness. You shall be my bride. And Dale's like, no! She's exquisite. And he just starts running his hands on her body. Flesh is like, no! And he attacks him. Get your filthy hands off her! You stink! Yes! Yes? Take him to the sex depleter and bring me his essence. It shall add immeasurably to the pleasure of our wedding night. So then both Dale and Flesh get dragged off by all these dildo guards.
Oh.
But right then, this weird lady in these blue robes just appears in the throne room. And she's like, no! He shall not be depleted. Ah, Amora! Queen of darkness and guardian of the sacred power pasties, only has the power to spare Flesh if he survives my torture. And she's like, fine. If he survives, he's mine. And I sentence him to trial by ordeal. And it's like, what? Mm-hmm. So be it, Emperor Wang. If he survives, he's mine. To the arena with him! And then Flesh gets thrown into the arena, which is like 10 feet away. So he's in this empty arena. He's like, what the hell? And then doors start opening up, 3 of them. And out come these topless tiger chicks. And they're like, wow, wow. And they got this bright orange hair and these long blue claws. And they just start clawing at him and like holding him and hugging him and laughing and screaming and hissing. And it's all very titillating. And they just rip his clothes to shreds. Like by the time this fight's done, he's wearing simply the waistband from his pants. You see his dong and everything. It's disgusting.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, Flesh ends up having to throw and beat the living shit out of these 3 women. He's like, punching them in the face. So then he wins. And Queen Amora, she's like, he's mine. He's mine. He's mine. He's mine. Like over and over. And she just goes and lays on top of him and then they just disappear. After them, you ninnies! And then we just cut to her ship in the clouds, which is a giant swan. And it's all like, it's all dark and romantic.
Flesh.
And there's like her and Flesh on the ship with one pilot. And the pilot is this weird little green monster with no mouth. And then her eyes start glowing. She's talking to Flesh. Sleep now and forget. Forget all. We shall love, and my body will be linked forever with yours. When you awake, you shall be my king of darkness. And it's like, this movie is cool. So they sail across the stars, and they make love. Yes. While they're doing this, the weird little green demon alien is just like watching them. And it has no mouth, so it just looks weird. Like it looks shocked. It looks powerless. Back at the palace, Wang is in the laboratory tickle torturing some random lady. She's strapped down to a table, and there's all these like weird cartoon looking gloved hands that are holding feathers. Like they look like they're from a cartoon, but they are physical things. Dr. Jerkoff is there. Remember, now he's in thrall to Emperor Wang. He has to be his scientist. Mm-hmm. Another guard comes in. Emperor Wang, we've spotted Queen Amora's ship flying over the forest kingdom. Shoot them down and bring them to me. But your ass holiness, the forest people and we are sworn enemies, and we couldn't survive a landing in this realm. Are you afraid of a few vegetables? I gave you my orders. I will be obeyed. Yes, degenerate one. Make ready for the ceremony. Porno shall have a new queen tonight. Ha 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 ha! Out of my way, dildo! And then he just leaves. He gets into the elevator. But we stay in the laboratory with Dr. Jerkoff, the dildo guard, and then the lady on the table. And Jerkoff is like, and he's looking at all this stuff, all this lab equipment, and he goes, guard, here, I need your help. Hold this. And he gives something to him. And this, and this, and this. Yes, yes. So the guard is like holding all this crap, and then Dr. Jerkoff just takes his gun out of his belt holster. He's like, now put your hands up. And it's like, genius. So then he drops a gas grenade, and he escapes into the elevator where Emperor Wang is still standing in there. But he's got this gun, which looks like a penis. Okay. So he gets in the elevator. There's Emperor Wang, and he just goes, down, please. And Emperor Wang just pushes the button. And the door's shut. Now we cut to another lizard ship. It's leaving the palace to, go out on patrol. Flesh and Amora are still doing it on the Swan. And he is just under her spell, baby. And she's got these giant glittering pasties on her boobs. And they stick out like real far. So then one of those lizard ships shows up and finds the swan and fires. So the swan crashes into a craggy rock cragland. Something that was cheap to build.
Yeah.
So it's destroyed and it burns. Flesh wakes up and he's buried in debris. And then he sees Queen Amora's hand like sticking out of the debris. And he just holds it up and feels for a pulse and then lets it go.
Oh.
She's dead.
Shit.
But it doesn't matter because we cut to Wang and Dale's wedding. And it's like, marriage. Marriage. There is like a weird priest and he's like, you can't understand him. Dale is just wearing something skimpy, but Wang is wearing a big white wedding dress.
What?
And then these 4 cheerleaders come out that are wearing shirts, and that's it. But on each shirt is a letter, and they all spell out Wang. And it's like, W-A-N-G, Emperor Wang is the one for me. Without him, the planet porno would be ever so forlorno. Yay! And Wang is like, yeah. He's like Emperor Todd from Mom and Dad Save the World, but cool. So back at the wrecked swan, Flesh escapes from the wreckage, and he is wearing Amora's robes. Like even her tiara and everything.
What?
And then that guard who shot him down shows up, and he has to fight him off like with a stick, and he whips this guard's ass. He's like, wait, jerk off? And we see it's Jerkoff, who is wearing the guard outfit and the big dick helmet too. Flesh! I thought you were Amora. He's like, well, this is all I could find to wear. How'd you get away from Wang's palace? When I discovered Wang's plan to destroy Amora's ship, I overpowered a guard, disguised myself, and followed to rescue you. What about Dale? I'm sorry. The ceremony is going on right now. Flesh goes to run. And Jerkoff's like, it's no use, Flesh. Alone, we'd be powerless to stop it. And then,
Oh, no.
a portal opens up, and we just see Queen Amora's face in it. Flesh, look! I have led an evil life, and my thoughts have arisen from the seeds of darkness and greed. Take these stones, the source of my power. With them, destroy Wang and his insidious schemes. These, my power pasties, are the only force that can stop the sex beam. Once accomplished, earthlings, my spirit shall at last rest in peace. And she fades away. And Flesh and Jerkoff, they're just like, yep, just standing there, holding these crystal nipples. She was a noble woman, Flesh. Yep, took a lot of guts. She was a brave scout. Come on, Doc, we haven't got much time to lose. So they run to the palace. Wait. I can't go like this. I feel silly. Oh, don't worry, Flesh. I think I've got something for you on the ship. And then we cut to their ship flying into the palace. At the wedding, Wang is like panting like a dog. Like, he wants Dale so bad.
All right, fellas, I'm ready to fudge.
Dr. Jerkoff and Flesh storm into the palace, and now Flesh is wearing a damn hero costume.
All right.
With a lightning bolt on his chest and a red cape.
Oh, nice.
The guards see him like, there they are! And then they have to have like a fun little Scooby-Doo chase. In the wedding, the priest is like, you may kiss the bride. Ah! Come here, my little bottle cap. And she's like, no! Oh, get away, you slimy snail! The guards catch up to Flesh and Jerkoff, and then Flesh just beats the shit out of them. And they keep running towards the wedding. In which one of the slave girls standing on the side just grabs Dale and runs through a secret escape hatch. Uh-huh. And she's like, that's all for this rancid affair, you turkey! She yells this to Emperor Wang. He's like, no! Stop! So they're gone, but then Flesh and Jerkoff arrive. Wedding's over, Wang! After them, you dildos! And the slave girl and Dale, they're just gone. And Flesh and Jerkoff have to fight all these guards. Okay, Flesh is like sword fighting them with, I don't know, a sword or a stick, I don't know. But Dr. Jerkoff can lift up, he is wearing the power pasties. And he can lift up his shirt and shoot lasers at them.
Oh, shit.
It's cool. So they take all the guards out. And Flesh grabs Wang. Where's Dale? Oh, she was spirited away, barely a breath from love's first kiss. Jerkoff shows up and he's like, he lifts his shirt up. Shall I give it to him now, Flesh? And then Flesh Gordon just says, nah, not now, Doc. He's been through enough. Because Wang is like crying because his wife got taken away. So they run off to find Dale. They're feeling for that secret entrance that she went out through. And then the priest pulls a giant lever and a trap door opens up and they fall in.
Oh.
They fall down through like a mile-long chasm. This is accomplished by dropping a couple of action figures down the hole. It looks great. If you find her, tell her I love her. Now we see Dale and the slave girl. They're in the catacombs, okay? And they run into a couple of guards. But these are lady guards.
Oh.
And they're topless and you can see their butts. They look like a naked Wonder Woman. Like red and blue is in the costume there.
Yeah.
I've brought the Earth Girl. Follow us. So they go into the bowels of these catacombs and they meet, there's all these others of those guard ladies, right? And then there's one boss lady who's like, she's topless. She's smoking a cigar that's in a weird cigar holder and she's got an eye patch on. There's a big glowing red light on it. She also has one hook for a hand and one metal leg. And she gets up and walks around and it's like, like the rusty Tin Man.
Yeah.
And she has a big black eye patch over one of her boobs that has a glowing crystal on it too. The Earth Girl. We've been hoping you'd drop in since we heard about your opposition to Emperor Wang. I am Chief Nelly. That's right. Chief Nelly. Commander of the vast and powerful Amazon underground of porno. She sounds like Dr. Detroit. What do you want with me, though? Well, because of your dislike for Wang and his cohorts, we decided to initiate you into our ranks. And it's like, bum, bum.
Yeah, here we go.
And they grab Dale and they start dragging her over towards this gurney. She's like, but I'm with the Earthman, Flesh Gordon. You'll be of more use here with us. So the Amazons strip her and they strap her to the gurney. She is struggling, and then Chief Nelly blows a whistle. And she's like, ranks in formation for selection and inspection. And then all the Amazons like, line up! And just a whole bunch of, naked Wonder Women, okay? And Chief Nelly goes down the line, and she's like looking at him like, yeah, nice face. Mm-hmm. Ah, yes, very nice. Oh, nice nipples. She's like tweaking nipples with her hook. It's like, yeah, no. Oh, nice hair. Very shiny. Uh-huh. Oh, what are you doing to your nipples? They look very nice. She walks by and looks at one that has like this big hairy bush. And she's like, nope, no good. And then she gets to this one black lady. She's like, oh, yes. Oh, okay. Prepare yourself. You'll do. So it's like, yeah, dun, 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 dun. And they all start chanting, okay? And then this lady just comes over to the gurney. And she's like being all, gyrating. And she climbs up on top of Dale and begins to cavort.
Nice.
Oh, yes.
Woof.
Exactly.
Like a blind man at an orgy, I was going to have to feel things out.
Flesh and Jerkoff wake up in a pit. They can actually hear Dale off in the distance, like struggling and saying, no, please, no.
No.
Now we cut back to Dale, who is beginning to enjoy the cavorting. And then it's like, oh, wait. Oh, you're going to sit on her face. Okay.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. And at that point, Dale realizes, no. No, okay, I don't want to do this. Flesh tries to break through the wall, but he hurts himself. And then Dr. Jerkoff is like, hold on, Flesh. He lifts up his shirt and boom, blows a big hole in the wall. So they are right on the other side of the wall from what's happening. So they find all these Amazons. Flesh is like, there she is.
Good Lord, Flesh, they're dykes.
Oh, God.
Dykes! No! And then he just runs in and starts hitting them.
Oh, shit.
He runs right up to Chief Nellie and just punches her in the face and knocks her right the fuck out.
Oh, God.
And then Dr. Jerkoff is like, holding all of the other Amazons at bay with the power pasties. Don't try anything. I've got the power pasties. And I know how to use them.
This is a movie you would write.
I know. One of them kind of sneaks off to the side and boom, bangs a gong. And he's like, you, get back over here. It was too late, though. Now there's this big set of double doors. Dumbledore? And they start rumbling. And then they crash open. And there is a new stop motion monster. And it's a weird metal Birdman. It is random, but it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And it walks in, and Flesh picks up a torch and has to beat on it, if you know what I mean. He gets into a fight with it, and then Jerkoff frees Dale, and he's like getting ready to shoot it with the power pasties. And Dale's like, no, you might hit Flesh. So Flesh is battling this Birdman and is, ting, ting, ting. Just doing nothing. It knocks him down, and then it turns to go for Jerkoff and Dale. And then Flesh finds a decorative sword on the wall. So now he's like evenly matched and ready to go. He hits it in the shoulder, and so it's wounded, and he's like winded. So they're both like crawling up the stairs. He's just crawling away from it, and it's crawling for him. When all of a sudden, a bow and arrow just comes into screen. We don't see who's holding it, and it just pulls back and fires. This Birdman monster gets hit, and then just falls off the stairs and dies.
Oh.
Flesh is like, what the hell? Flesh, what happened? An arrow. A poisoned arrow, in fact. And then they all turn, and it's these bunch of Robin Hood looking guys. They look maybe a little gay. The main one has like a red heart like stuck to the middle of his chest. But they're wearing like, Robin Hood hats with feathers.
Yeah.
And green booty shorts with tights.
Yeah.
Flesh walks up to him and is like, we owe you our lives. Nonsense. I was happy to do it. I'm Prince Precious, rightful heir to the throne of porno. You see, years ago, this planet was a paradise, but Wang, a maniacal botanist whose organ was devoured by a crazed penis flytrap, couldn't tolerate the existence of so much pleasure. So he gathered his forces and, armed with a small but effective sex ray, plunged my palace into carnal chaos and took it over, exiling me and my few advisors to what is now known as the Forest Kingdom.
And you feel that together we can defeat Wang?
And that our new cosmic friendship might inspire an everlasting bond of kindness and love between this planet and yours. And Flesh is just like, all right. And he looks at him, he's like, if there's anything I can ever do to repay you. And then it just cuts.
Oh, God.
Flesh.
To Prince Pasty's airship. And Flesh is naked, laying on a bed, and Prince Precious is blowing him.
Oh, God.
Oh, wow.
And Flesh's face is just like, in shock. Like, like he doesn't like it. The camera pans to the left, and there's Dr. Jerkoff, like, watching. He's like, and he turns to one of the other forest people, and he like widens his eyes, like, oh my God. And then he turns to watch out the window, and then that forest guy, like, starts grabbing his ass. And Dr. Jerkoff is, like, swatting his hands away and, like, stepping to the side, trying to get away from this guy, and the guy just keeps up. Their airship looks like a big red ladybug. So they fly into the Forest Kingdom, which is like, looks like the Ewok village, you know?
Yeah.
And there's the sound of laughter and, innocent pleasures happening. Many people are bathing in the water, and everybody's eating a feast. Flesh comes out, and he's like, he's got his hero costume on again. Prince Precious, stay a while, Flesh. The fun is just beginning. Ah, no, I got to go back to the lab over here, your lab, and join Dr. Jerkoff and find a way to stop Wang. Oh, I'll go with you. In the lab, Dr. Jerkoff is like blowing up concoctions that he's trying. He's like, look, Flesh, I've made this new destructo ray, and it is powerful enough to destroy the sex beam. One blast from my device, and Wang's odious sex ray will be smashed to smithereens. Let me show you how it works. First, we attach the power pasties. And he, like, has to put these jumper cables onto his nipples. And they test it out, and it works. Fantastic! Let's mount it in the ship! And Dale's like, oh my God, Flesh, we can really do this. Yeah, with any luck, Dale, we'll be home tomorrow night. But there's a strange forest guy off to the side, and he's watching. Everybody leaves, and he gets on the view screen and contacts Emperor Wang. He's a spy.
No.
So he tells him the whole plan. And Emperor Wang's like, oh, they will be stopped. Now listen carefully. And then we cut back to the Ladybug ship. Prince Precious is just sitting there knitting. And that spy, he's flying the ship, okay? And there's this other random forest man who's like walking around, and he like trips over Dr. Jerkoff's sex ray and almost breaks it. Dr. Jerkoff like yells at him. And they're flying up to the palace like, look, there's the sex ray. Okay, get ready. All right, fire. And right then the pilot, spy, gets up, runs over to Dr. Jerkoff, rips off his pasty, grabs an umbrella, and jumps out of the ship. And they're all like, no! My pasty! So now they're crashing, and they are going down. The other forest guy like tries to take control of the ship. It's not responding. Flesh is just like, let me try. And he's like trying to fly the ladybug, and all of a sudden, they get stuck in this magnetic beam. This beam is trying to bring us safely down. But why would Emperor Wang want to save us? He doesn't. Look! And then in the side of the palace is this giant set of gnashing metal teeth. Bang, bang. And that's what they're pulling them into.
Oh.
And they're like, no, what are we going to do? And then you just see the ladybug ship goes right into the teeth. It smashes down on them and then just chomp, chomp, chomp. Oh, it explodes.
Whoa.
Does this mean the end? Has the perverted Wang emerged victorious? Is failure Flesh's middle name? Intermission.
Oh.
Flesh. 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 Flesh.
Where's the
Flesh.
He gets erections.
Very good intermission, Chris. Flesh Gordon, Part 2. When last seen, our hapless heroes were about to be crunched into oblivion by the perverted Wang's chomping jaws. Is there no justice on porno? So we begin Part 2 a little bit back in time, where the ship is going down. Hasn't been crunched yet.
Oh.
And we see on the ship, Prince Precious is handing out umbrellas. He's like, Dale, this is yours. Dr. Jerkoff, here's one for you, Flesh. And it's like, oh, okay. And then you just see the ship get crunched and explode. And our heroes are all just drifting down safely in the umbrellas. You okay, Dale? I'm all right. And Prince Precious is like, he's hanging on, you know. It's really a shame about that other guy stealing your pasties like that. And he was my best boy.
Whatever happened to the other fella?
We only had 4 parachutes.
Oh.
So now they have to sneak into the palace, and they find a couple of guards. They take them out. Flesh and Precious are sword fighting these guards with their umbrellas. They're little kids' plastic umbrellas.
Oh.
The spy is running through the palace with the pasties to go and give them to Emperor Wang. After him! He hides, and then they run right by him into a door that shuts behind him. And then that door starts flashing, Royal Flush, occupied. And then all 4 of them are just standing there, listening to a single solitary stream of urine in a toilet bowl. They're like looking at each other like, what the hell? And then Wang shows up on the view screen. Ha 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 ha! You're trapped! You thought you could defeat me! We have ways of dealing with you, Yankee! See how you like my royal flush, Earthling! And then he pulls the flush chain. Precious starts screaming. They're like, what's wrong? The floor! It's opening! And then a hole just opens up in the floor. And it is ever widening. And it's done with like animation. And it looks great.
Oh, wow.
And there's just green swirling water underneath. And the hole's just getting bigger and bigger. And they all like get up against the wall. It's hopeless. And they actually start saying their goodbyes to each other.
It's been a pleasure, Flesh.
Yes, Flesh. Thank you. And then they all just fall. Ah! And then it cuts to the throne room. And all of the orgy people are all doing a conga line bunny hop. And Emperor Wang is just dancing. And it's all like, boom, 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 boom. And he starts singing, Flesh Gordon is dead. Hey! Flesh Gordon is dead. Hey! Flesh is dead. Gordon is dead. Flesh Gordon is dead. Hey. And they're all just like hopping and dancing. The song actually continues, but you see them all cavorting while it's happening. And Emperor Wang has built a human pyramid of naked people.
Oh.
And they're all like giggling and tickling. But the camera pans down and we see an X-ray shot of the sewers, and our 4 heroes are just swimming through it. Like they're going to be okay. The spy brings Wang the power pasties. And Emperor Wang is like, ooh, yes. And he takes one of them and walks up to some random naked girl. And he's like, Wangy Pangy favors you with a trinket. And she's like, ooh. And it gets weird here for a second. He like lays her down and he rubs it on her body. And then it goes down towards the crotch and goes, whoop. And
What?
yes. Wang and the girl look at each other like shocked, and then it just cuts to him strangling her, saying, what do you mean it's stuck? What? It is stuck inside of her. She's like, oh, it's stuck, I'm sorry. Yeah. Flesh shows up with his friends, and they're all covered in like sewer stuff. And Flesh is like, where is it? Where's the power pasty? And Emperor Wang just goes, you guess. And Flesh is like, okay. And the girl is like sitting at Wang's feet. And he's like he walks over to the table, he picks up a cup, and he's like, am I getting warmer? Wang's like, yes, very warm. Yes, yes. Wang like throws his robe over the girl, and he's like, anyway, Flesh ends up finding out that it's her. And he's like, where is it? Give it to me. She's like, I can't. It's stuck. He's like, what do you mean it's stuck? This does not make sense. Anyway, he has to lay her down and like try to fish it out, and she starts enjoying it. And Wang takes this opportunity to walk over to this big wheel on his wall, and he's like, you idiots thought you could defeat me, but you have yet to tangle with my rapist robots.
Oh, shit.
And then he turns the wheel, and then out, walk these 3 giant, clunky metal robots with claws for hands and giant drill dongs.
Whoa.
They're like, zzz, but they walk like so slow. Everybody starts screaming. They're all screaming. These robots are just lumbering, and the music's like, boom, 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 boom. They start going towards the heroes, and Wang is laughing. He's like, oh, I wish I had a picture of this. Flesh is like trying to punch the robots, but it's just like, bong. And he hurts himself, you know? Ha ha! What a way to go, eh, Earthman? The robots actually make it to the heroes, but all they really do is like grab them, you know, just kind of hold them there. Flesh runs over to the wheel on the wall and then reverses it. And they all boom, 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 turn around. And they all start going for Emperor Wang.
Oh.
He's like, what? No, no, fools, what the hell are you doing? Flesh is like, what a way to go, eh, Wang? You haven't heard the last of Wang! And he gets into his throne, which is in the mouth, and he pushes a button, and it swallows him. So he escapes. And the robots walk off to try to find him slowly, I guess. What do we do now, Flesh? We have to get the pasty and save the Earth. And then it just shows the 3 guys holding this girl up with her legs spread, and they're just like shaking her up and down.
Oh my
boing,
God.
Boing, 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 ting, 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 ting. And they get it. Wang has now gone underground into the catacombs, and he walks into this huge evil shrine with all these torches and everything, and this giant stone statue of this big demon. A plague, a pox, a pestilence, a storm, anything, O great one. The fate of all evil rests in your hands. Arise, arise, and destroy your enemies, and avenge the glorious cause of perversion. And the demon wakes up.
Oh.
His eyes start glowing orange, and it starts moving. And this is basically the Kraken from Clash of the Titans, and he looks great. So he starts moving, and he talks. Oh, boy. I just love murder. And he starts walking out. He's got like big cloven hooves. Out of my way, little fly. And Wang is just on the ground like, oh yes, like worshiping it. This thing is the Great God Porno. So the Great God Porno walks outside of the catacombs to go and destroy the enemies. And Wang, he's laughing, and he runs to the sex beam. The giant's walking outside the castle, and he's like, the monster's work is never done. He kind of sounds like an impression of Vincent Price. The heroes are running through the palace. The demon finally gets outside, okay? And he turns one way, and then looks the other way and goes, oh, and then goes that way. This movie is amazing. And then he sees them. They're running, and he's like, oh, fuck. And he goes after them. They have their pasties, and they're trying to escape, and Wang at the sex ray just screams down at them. Ha ha ha! Too late now! The sex ray's too good for your Earth. I'm going to burn your fucking planet to a fucking crisp! They're still running from this demon, and Dale falls down, and he catches her. Oh. Great God Porno, reaches down and picks her up. Oh, well. How delightful. Dale's like, no! Flesh is like, jerk off, quick! Use your destructo beam, kill it! Jerk off aims, and he's like, I can't. I'll hit Dale. If only we could get closer. I know, we'll use Wang's rocket ship. The Great God Porno has Dale, and he walks by a big window and looks at his reflection, and then he goes, and he like slicks one of his eyebrows with his pinky. It's like, And then he walks to the tallest tower of the palace, and he's like, now, this is the Tower of Murder, and it's where I hang out. And she's just screaming, and then he just climbs the tower. Wang is laughing. Porno is climbing it, and he's like, are you having a good time? He gets on top, he looks down, he's like, God, it's high. Save me, Flash! They get into one of the lizard ships, and they take off, okay? Now Porno is just like looking down at Dale. And when you see Dale in his hand, sometimes she's the actress in a giant rubber hand. Mm-hmm. And then other times, when you just see the God Porno, he's holding a little claymation Dale. It's pretty well done. It's fun. You're incredible. I wonder how you'd look in black nylons. No! Ah! What do you think of that? And it turns out,
I can't picture this.
I know. It turns out that they animated this giant monster with no plan on it speaking, but it turned out to be so expressive that they then wrote dialogue tailored to its mouth movements. Oh. And that's why he's like, nylons. And he just moves his face and he goes like, huh? Oh. And he's like holding her up and dangling her, and then he like flicks her with his finger. He's playing with her. I just want. And then he reaches down and rips her clothes off with his claws to look at your tits. She's like, no! In the ship, okay? Flesh is piloting. And Dr. Jerkoff, he's got the Destructo Ray aimed out the window. Okay, Doc, here we go. We're coming in. There we go. All right, fire! And then, pew! He shoots, and it misses. Okay? It flies right past the God Porno, and he's like, Inside, Flesh goes, Doc! He turns around and goes, you missed. And this is such a fun little moment. Like, Dr. Jerkoff just stops and looks at Flesh, and he goes, I know I missed. I'll get him. And then he goes back to aiming. I love it, man. Like, this movie is fucking great. The Great God Porno was like, well, I never. And he puts Dale down. And he turns and he faces the ship. And he, like, shakes his fist at it. And he's like, up yours, Gordon. And right then they fire again and hit him right in the face. Oh. And he's like, ah! Pain. And he looks down at Dale and he's like, and now you get yours. And he bends down to pick Dale up. And she's like, no! And then the ship is flying around again and shoots him right in the ass. Oh, Wang sees it and he's like, oh! Porno was like, ah! And it shows his face like straight on, and he just goes, my ass. So now the ship is hovering, and they drop a ladder, and Flesh is climbing down to go get Dale. And Porno is like walking around holding his ass with his two hands, and he's like, my ass. The pain, the humiliation, the hemorrhoids. And he walks, he's like he's walking it off. Flesh gets to Dale and he's like, are you all right? He starts putting her on the ladder. Porno turns and sees him and he's like, Gordon. And he walks over and breaks off a piece of the tower and he starts walking at the ship to swat it with it. Flesh and Dale are climbing the ladder. They get into the ship and then Porno's like, for this, you'll pay. No one burns my ass and lives to get away. And he's walking towards the ship to hit it, and then he just falls right off the edge of the tower. And he's like, oh, shit! And he falls down and then hits Wang and the sex ray.
Oh, damn.
And they all blow up. Boom! And then the palace starts exploding. Like all over the place. Inside, you see just all the naked people you've seen before. They're all running and screaming. Some of them are like bumping into each other. Some of them are still having sex while they're running away.
Flesh.
You see some of the Amazons like running too. And then the whole palace explodes, and I guess all of those people died.
Oh.
Now they take the lizard ship and they go to the Golden Dong. Okay, which I guess is still space-worthy. And they're about to get in, and Prince Precious is like hugging them all. He's like, "Goodbye, Jerkoff."
Goodbye, Prince.
And Dale. And you, Flesh. Goodbye. Precious. We'll miss you around here. Don't worry, Precious. I'll be back. And next time it'll be a friendly visit. And then Prince Precious, he's got like a little speech. He goes, "With Wang out of the way, the universe is once again safe for democracy and freedom, and the right of all to happiness, each according to his own personal religious convictions." And then they hug. As they hug, Prince Precious squeezes Flesh's dick.
Oh, God.
Honk, honk. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. We're going to miss you. Bye. And then Precious is just like walking away by himself into the sunset.
Oh.
So they take off and they leave.
There she is, the Earth.
Flesh and Dale walk over and they look out the window and, "Oh, Flesh, there's no place like home." And then he puts his arm around her. They hold each other and we close in on the Earth. And then across the screen, "Don't miss the next exciting episode, The Perils of Flesh." And then the credits roll, baby.
Damn.
All right.
There you have it. Flesh Gordon on Movies with Ron.
That was pretty spectacular.
Thank you. Yes. This movie is amazing, man.
I can't believe you own it.
I know.
I will be going home to watch it tonight.
Good luck finding
Wherever
it.
I can find it.
Yeah. Is it available anywhere? So, did they kill Prince Precious's god? Was it the planet Porno when Precious, his people, were ruling it?
I don't know.
He just watched Flesh Gordon kill his god. And it's like, well, at least Wang isn't in control.
Yeah. He can have the royal flush back.
And they did make a sequel.
Well, a semi-sequel, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a Flesh Gordon 2 somewhere.
Yeah, somebody else made it, and it was like in the early 2000s.
Oh.
So it's not like the original guys made it.
Good job, Ron.
Thanks, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
And it's that time of year again.
Oh?
In a few weeks, we'll have our Christmas episode.
All right.
Yay!
And
Christmas comes this time each year.
I wonder what you're going to do this year.
Yeah.
I have to give a shout out to Dad, who wants you to do White Christmas.
That's true.
Oh, shit.
Whether you do it or not, Dad's out there.
You know, Heather and her family love that movie, too.
Really?
Yeah. Shit, okay, I'll do it.
All right.
With the singing and everything.
Okay, folks.
Counting your blessings.
If you're on Apple Podcasts or iTunes, you like what you hear, leave us a rating and review. We'd love to hear from you. We're on all your other favorite podcast apps and movieswithron.com. There's a Facebook page. We got Twitter @movieswithron. So check us out. It's been fun.
Yep, we love you.
See you guys.
Happy anniversary, Candy.
Thank you.
Movies with Ron.
Do I say the sexual assault thing?
Yes.
I don't even know how to put it
He
in
says it's the law.
there. All right.
Does your recap
the
have sexual
disclaimer's gonna be-
assault?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Woohoo!
But this time, no. Oh, it burns. Just
Simmer down. It's fine.
pump the brakes. Lower your aggression level.
It's over. It happened. Let's move past it.